London-based Horizn Studios are a next-generation travel brand, pushing boundaries and challenging the status quo of the luggage industry. At the heart of Horizn's designs are world-first innovations, such as being the first to create luggage with a removable charging function, and revolutionizing the world's most sustainable luxury luggage that is fully plant-based, biodegradable, and PETA-approved. Fast Company met with the co-founders to understand how Horizn produces a fully sustainable travel product with high-end design detail.
The original idea behind Horizn Studios actually happened while we were traveling ourselves. We were always on the go. We lived a life basically like an urban nomad. And in parts of our lives, we lived basically out of our suitcases. Yeah? So we had a lot of direct experience. And at some point, we were thinking there's something missing. For us, it is absolutely important not only to be driven by profit. We also think a lot here what we can do for the planet and for people, of course. Impact in general is something that we deeply care about. We make sure that our products are not only sustainably developed, built and shipped, but also last a lifetime. As a challenger in the global luggage industry, it is obviously super important to be always ahead of the game. We have to be more on our toes, more agile, more innovative, more creative, and maybe also sometimes more bold than all the established players in the world.
Horizn Studios' innovation philosophy is to never stop thinking about how to do things better and greener, and at the same time, to not lose sight of speed and the aesthetic. Jan Roosen, co-founder and CEO of Horizn Studios, took us through the innovation process.
Sustainability also means, of course, having a high-quality product. The most sustainable product is the one you don't exchange or have to throw away. We start with things like offsetting our carbon footprint, making sure our production is completely waste-free. That means cutoffs and such, for example, in fabric and shell materials, is all being brought back into the loop. Eliminating single-use plastics, becoming PETA certified. All of these things that sort of brought us on the journey. We want to bring something beyond polycarbonate, beyond aluminum, something really new. Recycled nylon is not like the nylon that's not recycled. It has different properties, it behaves differently, it laminates differently, and especially if you always try to marry use, aesthetics, and then the sustainability aspect, you're working with three different variables that somehow have to work. So this is actually quite a, I must say, a painstaking process to get there. As I think a very much design-oriented company, everything starts with an aesthetic. It starts with a sketch, and from there it goes to a technical drawing. From there it goes to selecting the right materials. From there it goes to prototyping, building tools. The further you go, the more costly the steps are, so we try to use a lot of 3D printing. What's been our biggest, let's say, milestone in terms of product development? I think that would be our Circle 1, which is our lighthouse project in sustainability, where we really try to do everything that's not been done before. That starts with the shell material, our Biox material, which is 100% plant-based from renewable sources, consisting of layers of woven flax, one of the lightest, strongest natural fibers that are out there, with very little environmental footprint. Yeah, flax is the one resource, is European grown, can pretty much grow anywhere, doesn't need a lot of water, no pesticides, and that material we then suspend in a resin made of PLA. PLA is a polymer, it's a plant-based polymer. In our case, this is from non-genetically modified sugarcane and sugar beets. So the result that we try to achieve, and the result that we did achieve actually, is a material that's lighter than aluminum and that's longer lasting than polycarbonate and greener than anything that's out there in the market. The thing that you have to get right about innovation is if you think about how many iterations does it take to get the product right, I would say infinite number of times. I think that's where you really, really have to focus and not lose sight of getting things done, not lose sight of bringing it out in the market, being faster than others. I think what is probably the most essential is to always have plans, to always build scenarios, because you are going to fail. So planning those ahead and anticipating that, that's essential.